Maybe I should say Jell-O again, because Jell-O was the sponsor on the radio for maybe 25 or 30 years of Jack Benny. Our topic is Jack Benny. Joe Franklin remembers. That's me. I'm remembering with you and for you and bringing back a little bit of memory lane. Jack Benny, my friends, was the #1 radio comedian in the ratings for 10, 15, 20, maybe 25 years. He was enormously popular. He was the first one to become very intimate with the audience at a time when MCs in vaudeville were shouting and yelling and screaming. He was very low-key. Hello, this is Jack Benny. He did his monologue, did his routine. He was also besides the comedy on radio, which was second to none, he was a great violinist. One time, Jack Benny, you know, when Franklin D. Roosevelt needed cheering up, he would send for whoever it was. When Jack Benny, when Harry Truman, who succeeded Franklin, needed cheering up, he would send for Jack Benny. It was Eddie Cantor for Roosevelt and Jack Benny for Harry Truman. So one day, Jack Benny goes to the White House with a violin in his case, and the security guard says, "Mr. Benny, what do you got in that case?" So he said something he shouldn't have said. He said, "A bomb." The security guard said, "Oh, thank God, I thought it be your violin." It was one of the funniest times. Jack Benny was known as being fairly frugal. In fact, he got his reputation in the early days of radio when he was sponsored by Canada Dry Ginger Ale. He'd go around collecting all the bottles from his friends to get those nickels, and that gave him the image of being somewhat frugal, which in private life he was. He was very, very generous in private life, but he was known on the radio for having the vault under his house and saving the Christmas tree for various Christmases. You know, a skinflint, which he was not. He was a big, big spender, and he was nobody ever endured his popularity. He was #1, as we said, for so many years, and he would be in an elevator sometimes going down 7 flights, and people would ask him all kind of questions. He would ask, is it true that your wife is Mary Livingston, your butler is Rochester, you got the old Maxwell, you ride the old time, all kind of questions. When he got down to the bottom, I asked him when I was in the elevator, I said, "Jack, don't you ever get tired of that?" He said, "No, I like it," but sometimes he says, "I would like to say to those people, go screw yourself." He was, in other words, he was easily upset, but he tried not to show it because he was so nice and kind and generous. And there have been many, many people who forgot that Jack Benny was a gigantic movie star. His movies like The Horn Blows at Midnight and the endless title, The Artists and Models, and the Fritz Lang movies. He was a fantastic movie, very, very popular. And to this day, comedians, when they get together at a round table and reminisce about the past, they always remember that they were influenced by a young man named Jack Benny. He was the king of radio. When TV came along, he did many, many years of specials. His guests included Bob Hope and anybody you mentioned. His wife was Mary Livingston. His butler, who was a very wealthy man in his own right, was Rochester. That was his name, Rochester. He was the assistant. And the memories linger on forever of Jack Benny. Thank you. Joe Franklin, remembering with you, for you. See you next time around. Joe Franklin remembers. I'll be remembering with you everybody. Jack Benny, Eddie Cantor, Al Jolson, Rudy Valley, Kate Smith, Bob Hope. Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney, the golden age of show business, Betty Davis, everybody. And they'll give you everything in the way of behind the scenes, behind the screens, what happened on stage, backstage, at various stages of their lives. It'll be most compelling, exciting, fascinating. I'm looking forward to doing it, and I'll be proving it with you and for your mommies and daddies that everything old is new again. So we'll be watching for me and Joe Franklin remembers the memory lane as it was meant to be, the best of the past. The past is not passé. We'll be reminiscing all through these next many, many years. Let's be in touch as we listen to the reminiscing. Thank you so much.